Welcome to the spoken tutorial on advanced function. Here I'll show you how to create a little calculator program. We will deal with a function that allows you to input a value, then gain a value out of this after a mathematical operation. So we'll create a function in the same way that we have done before. I'll call this calc and I'm going to create my first block. Here I'll type number 1, number 2 and an operator. Now this will be a numerical value, this will be an integer or decimal depending on the user input. This will also be the same and this will be the string value of either add, subtract, multiply or divide. Now inside our function we need to start creating our code. I am going to create a switch statement inside. I'll say switch and put the switch condition, or rather the input of the switch is off. I'll create a block for this and I'll say case is equal to plus, then carry out this. I'll make a new variable called total which will be equal to num1, which is input here, plus num2. I'll break that with a semicolon. Now there's a probability, a much easier way to do this by combining the switch statement with a function. So you will be able to use all different kinds of things inside other statements and inside functions. So I have created a case for plus. So when this equals to plus supplied by the user, we have num1 added to num2. Now we need to go down and create another case which is minus. I'll type total is equal to num1 minus num2. We'll scroll down, make sure you break that. We'll now copy this code down and here we'll say multiply and we'll say divide and make sure you change the sign here. Now if you don't understand what is going on, please feel free to contact us via email. I hope every confusion will be resolved in that way. In the default, we are going to echo out unknown operator. Okay. Let me just run through this, then we will start to call the function. I have got a function called calculator or calc for short, which takes a number as an input, then second number and then an operator which could be either plus, minus, multiply or divide. As you have probably seen in my my arithmetic operator tutorial. Now we have a switch statement inside which takes this hop into account. It takes what has been entered. Now if it equals to plus, remember that it switches over to this statement. It is easier to write and much more efficient. If it equals to a plus, then we'll create a new variable called total. That's going to be equal to the first number which was entered and added to the second number which was entered. Here we will say if it is a minus, then the variable total. Okay, remember the variable total will only be set once for each case, either plus or minus. So this total variable going to be number 1 minus number 2, and the same for multiply and divide as well. Now this would do absolutely nothing. Refresh this. Now if we enter this page, there is nothing because we haven't called our function. Now to call our function, as you know, we will just say calc and put our values in. Let us just give it two numbers, say 10 and 10 and a plus. Okay, so that will be 20. Now watch what happens if I refresh this. Nothing. Now why? The reason is that we haven't echoed this out. We have just set it as a variable. So what we ideally do is we will echo what has been put out from calc. Now at the moment this won't do anything if we do a refresh. We have got nothing because there is no return output. So in each case we would say return total. What this does is, if you think of a function as a variable, it sets the function's value as the total. As long as you say return, whatever you say here, the function will equal that. So we are going to say return total, and we are going to copy that and paste it down for each case. Okay, so obviously we don't need to do that for unknown operator. This is because there is no operator to be found here, and we can refresh that. We still don't have anything. Guess why? The reason this is not working because I've echoed this inside a function. That's a mistake. You can see the bracket of a function that starts here and ends here. I'll place this underneath here where it should be. And then refresh it. It's 20. Okay, we can see the 10 plus 10 is 20 through our function. So let's pick some different values, say 13 and 7, and divide. Let's see what we get. Okay, we have got a quite long decimal number. So you can see that this is quite good function that we have made. We have got our first number, our second number, and an operator, and through a switch statement it detects which one and performs the relevant operation to it. An unknown operator error will be given if it can't be determined. So for example, let's take A, which is not a valid operator. As soon as we refresh, it's going to unknown operator. This brings us to the end of the tutorial on advanced functions. We saw that we can input a value and then return a value echoing out using a return command. This is Siddharth dubbing for the spoken tutorial project. Thanks for watching.